It's like with an injury. With an injury, everything becomes a whole body motion. And in that sense, the individual parts that didn't work together before because of the injury are forced to work together because of the weakness. It's like learning internal congruence. And then, what was I saying? So it's like emotions. You have to dance. Sorry, washing. You have to sing and dance your way. Maybe I'll use this one. Through the day, more or less. All right. Yeah, did the reality tubule one. You guys sing and dance your way through the day. Little something sort of little like that guy. This is part of his dance. He's just dancing around this thingy. So this is really in the way. I gotta clean all that off, but you gotta like wash the board. I just like this excuse me. The reflective stuff, but it's a bit easier. And now that I held the mic up and the audio just normalized, you gotta sing and dance your way through the day. Then that's the other part. Actually, I'll put this up here. Oops. Those corner parts always fall off. I guess they're good for the metal knot. You know, this aluminum, sorry. You probably wouldn't want touching your skin unless there was a finish on it or it was painted. Because if that's aluminum and it's wearing off, they might tell you some stuff about it not being able to cross over. But it will. And it's going to do it over a long period of time, and you're going to end up with two different species. And so then, it really doesn't matter though, because that's going to influence intelligence, and where there's too much intelligence, higher emotion will develop, and where there's too much emotion, either they'll get stuck, or higher intelligence will develop. Intelligence was limited, so people were stuck in a state of low emotion. Emotional paralysis, well, no, I think that's how you do it. Analysis paralysis. That's kind of part of it, but because intelligence was limited, and this is part of a process of bringing people up to this speed so that we can be one people in a sense, not because we are all literally the same, but because we're literally operating the same world for the benefit of all. If anything other than that, we're all in our own worlds operating in different ways that is for the detriment of all. What is that? And again, that detriment just means there's a difference in one or the other, different people, different layers, different emotions, different blah, blah, there's a conflict. As long as nobody's really going ham and like whatever, doing crazy stuff, the conflict resolves by new ideas and new feelings and everything getting better anyway. So what we're coming to realize, but the idea is it's a show because we are a show. Literally, the emotions that we feel, the things we go through, how we deal with that, how we work through our problems. It's like a show for the universe in the sense that not we're being watched, but put it this way. When you see out there, okay, and funny, and homeboy shows up at the window right at the exact moment. He literally just showed up. And you see out there, you're looking at chemicals, you're looking at chemistry, you're looking at molecular symphony on a magnitude very, very great. Put it simply. Like a checkerboard, multidimensional torus with each of the checkers representing different elements in the periodic table interacting as somebody spins it like a top to create universes. You can go that route and see from the programmer side of what's going on, okay? Or the chemical route. Literally go and, whatever school, university, you're not going to get too far, well, in the past, but maybe that'll change now and the truth is being shown again. And that idea is, well, they're doing it now, and I'm not going to get into whether people are doing the right thing, and that's, morality, because, I really don't know, or I can't say. It's or maybe it's besides the point in this aspect, but there's that programmer route. It's like the not the end user route, it's the back end route. It's the I can't think of the words right now. I've been sleep deprived for like 2 or 3 weeks. Just odd hours. But the programmer side, the engineering, the functionality side. Then the other end is the user end side, the GUI, the graphical interface, the intuitive, appearance-based, all that chemistry, all that information, all that molecular variety, the delicate, the equations and the balances, the energetic transactions, and the complicated kind of algorithmic sentences, equative kind of sentences of chemistry and this, that. That's all represented and reflected in everything that you see with your eyes, everything you feel, everything you smell. Your senses are the user and graphical user interface for that multidimensional molecular chemistry atom-based reality. So meaning they take 64 eons of courses from the programmer side, and they meet you at the top. You take 64 eons of courses from the graphical end side, you meet at the top. It's the same result, which is complete and total understanding of reality. And maybe that's to say some of these animals, literally look at reality, and what we see when we're looking at particles and separate systems, they're seeing waves of light and interaction based upon their senses, the flickering of their bodies, we don't have access to the fields of information they have access to. So if they see that world of light, if they see that intelligence far beyond our own, then we're looking at two different systems, two different ways. And so the idea, and then it's gonna, I can't really connect, I forgot, kind of disjointed, but the idea of behind this talk is we're kind of dealing with the situation where we have so much intelligence, we have so much personality, the trajectory of our conscious temporal motion through time is not threatened, but it's very delicate, and it has to be very delicately stitched together through time over a very long period of time with very subtle to very intense conflicts of energies, and we have to automatically, built into our psyche, know how to handle that and correspond and react accordingly so that it doesn't destroy us and drop us lower and lower and lower while we're in this unconscious in-between states of reality. In other words, every time we go to sleep, we make a new us, or make a new you, a new reality, and if every day is shittier, each next reality is shittier. That's the same concept, one-to-one, but on the universes. Same thing a day-to-day, but universes. So, well, what does this matter? The people that have been doing this are at the level of universes, so at that point, they're going ahead, and a new universe is right over there. They didn't, I mean, it just happens. So, news flat, not really. More or less, that's what's there. And then good news, okay, bad news is wherever you're at, your threshold of self-awareness, your trajectory of how your spiral is going to go and your max point that you're going to reach, when we transition into the next one, you have zero control over how that works, or you have as much control as you do each night when you dream, when you go to bed, planning on how you're going to map out the next day emotively. Okay? It's be kind of dope. You're in a lucid dream, like, what am I going to do today when I wake up? Has anybody ever done that? I've never heard anybody talk about that. And when I ever try to do shit like that, I end up in different worlds where they're like, oh, you've accessed the time of this, that, and you've processed, and it's like, shit, this isn't dreaming. Imagine that, though. You're cycling, my book's over there, but it's half steps. As soon as you take a full step, the next move's already been planned. You take a half step and begin planning for what the next step is, because halfway through, people are like, what's going to happen next? Where's this? Is this going to plan out? What's going to do next? The next phase is based upon their lack of expectation or their expectation. That's how it works. People have to understand that, and then you begin planning as soon as you got a gradient and everybody's still like, well, where's it going, where's it going, where's it going? Once you get to there, you already know what's going on. Go to the next one. Half steps. Half steps are quantum leaps. Anyway, because there are no half steps. It's your mind changing perspective. That's just some guy looking as the world revolves around it, and they know everything, and they're staying in sync with what's happening because they're not falling for the trick, which is just to get your emotions in a ball. And so, yeah, but that's the weird part, is that the system worked, we're going forward. The whole idea was somebody didn't agree with it and wanted to sabotage it the whole time. That was the whole point. They wanted to sabotage it, and that's what everything is, and so that basically turns into a replay or a forward, but we're at the point now where what's being built is going to create something that has the energy of everyone in it. It's like too late to go back. All we can pretty much do now is go forward. And so what you're doing is planning for the world you want to live in next, which is a layer of society, and the next one, which is really the old one where everyone's there, and time and matter and energy is different, consciousness. And so you either want to live in a world of financial struggle and war, or one of higher knowledge, truth, and compassion, and what brings with that. And you won't believe what brings with that, but one, there's more than just the programmer and the user inside of the universe, I'll tell you that right now. But you have to actually be able to do it by fitting yourself into that position, by being that slot in the universe. It's confusing, but it's almost like little kids choosing how they want to grow up. Children, we'll say. No one can really say, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that, because you're designed to be this way. If that's true, because they really know what they're talking about, you can fight it forever. And eventually you'll accept it because that's what you're designed to do. But the point is, that will be the thing that makes you the most happy. You can never fight your feeling and what it really is. And then if it's distorted and all that, it's not really focused. But the point is, we're going to, and eventually everyone in that shitty or lower reality will, if they want, will be able to merge up, but that's what this time is about. So if they are ever, it'll be done now, because it's like a time gate being closed. There's so many people going to the next one that this one's not going to have the same amount of variety for continuity on an emotional human level, meaning it's going downgraded to the lower life universe, if you will. And then you just have that same quantum supervision where it's just like somebody's looking around the universe, bringing things up in time, but you can't be brought up and down and on your own. You have to take control. That's the whole point. If somebody's like, hey, hello, are you awake? Like, oh, peekaboo. You have to begin to take control. You can't just, okay, I'm going to play peekaboo forever. That's not reality. And so the solution, sing and dance your way through reality, or through your day. You sing and dance through the day. Per day, your day. And so then you have that day, and you do that. When you have this pretty much, I don't know what I was going to draw there, but you have that pretty much down packed, you know. Let's see, try to get the, what's it called, the glare off. Should be all right. When you have that, okay, let's say you have 9 a.m. to like 3 a.m. or something. If that's not that, when you go to bed, you wake up with that, okay? You do this in your teens, you learn how to hold that level of consciousness. In your 20s, you get that next layer. Say you mess up, well, you got to start again at 20, 28 or whatever, blah, blah. The idea is you're supposed to be growing this system that you're painting in, and it's based upon your contentment, your self-awareness, your ability to basically spend eternity in a day, in a single moment, in whatever you're doing all the time. And that's rough, but I've seen it all. Okay, I can't do it. All right, well then there's a lower dimension where it's just that each day in eternity, and it's what you could imagine happening in a lower world. It's built into the system. That's our consciousness. People are doing it anyway every day. When somebody gets in a shitty mood and drops down and you lose self-awareness and clarity and compassion like up there, it's the same thing. Now, if everyone does that, the planet might do that. And that's what we're not trying to have, you know? That's the whole point. But it's also kind of not possible because of what's being done, which is we're going through this dimensional upgrade system. You have to have at least a bare minimum for this in order to come out on the other side as a human, which is going to be, it's going to have all your systems. Just the basic conscious, subconscious, blah, blah, blah. And it's really not subconscious, but I'll explain it later. It's to have your mind intact, and it's really the opposite of what I said, but it's going to get complicated anyway. If you end up with baggage, that stuff, did I spell that wrong? Baggage. That's going to become part of your body, your emotional baggage. Okay, it's going to drop your form down, and it will turn it into a lower dimensional form. Now, if you go higher, you'll be kind of a superhuman. No one's staying the same. So the superhuman is actually the human, and the shitty person is actually a lower dimensional form, which is mutated. Either way, if you can get through the day singing your praise, enjoy about the universe, and your existence because that's who you are, then you're fine. Now here's the real deal. If that shit right here is something that sucks so bad and you can get by it by singing and dancing your little tunes, whatever your shit is, and ignore the suffering of that, that will translate into your spirit and your soul being able to go across the distance, which is pretty much Earth, humanity getting out of the gutter, which is because of we fell because I don't know, something happened. But that's the point. It's like climbing up a mountain of time with a dimensional slingshot. And your energy, whatever you're doing with yourself, with your mind, it's gonna build that up, build it up, and it changes you, and you'll either mutate forward or mutate backwards. I really don't know the words for that, but it's as if you have the routine. Okay, so the routine for what you do in the day, and say you have a bad day because there's a bunch of stressors around. Now, if we take that out of your mind, in essence, you have no memory. You still have the blueprint of what kind of personality would feel threatened enough to then lash out at somebody in the streets or, fight road rage or something. That blueprint in you, that's what is altered. The events themselves doesn't matter. The blueprint in you is what's altered, and it takes time to do it. Or you can use certain techniques and so on to change your mind and to accelerate that, and that's what's happening with the technology. But as well, that's happening pretty much to our civilization, so we all have to be aware, because if we go into that dimensional shift with a shitty blueprint, it drops down in level and it drops down on that shitty part and recalibrates so it doesn't shatter, but then you lose out that higher aspect, which is your clarity, your thinking. It's the consciousness. It's the ability to remain conscious going from universe to universe. That's the center one. We'll do more. Each day you're going closer and closer to your center of feeling and meaning, and the more you go out and get caught in ego or chasing or desiring instead of focusing on yourself, the farther out you are, and it's gotta be all in one point by the time you get through, because it's basically you going from a disc into a Fourier transform into a beam of light and then disking back out in another universe. And the information we have here that's populating us here, that keeps us here, that's not us. Therefore, if you take it there and you think that's you don't exist on the other side. You're there, but then your mind is it's like going to bed in a slumber party, and you wake up and you think you're the sleeping bag. So it'd be a little confusing. Or your super cool stasis sleeping bag pod that transmits your entire consciousness energy and collective through your DNA to the next person's house, and you literally get out and you think you're the pajamas in the sleeping bag. It'd be confusing. But it'd be more understandable if that thing transmits you and kind of codes your memory in your mind through the fibers. It would be confusing. We're shooting through these reality fiber optic dimensional tube systems, and everything that we see that defines ourselves, the blueprint that then goes through the reality and interacts and hits these events and hits these motions, that's equivalent and unique to each universe. The you that's there has nothing to do with any of that, and it's the meaning behind each event and each reason. You look at the meaning and close that down to the point where there's no things here holding you back trying to make you think that's what you are. And you can basically get a clean getaway. All it means is that you don't hold on to the illusion. And it's tricky, but everything you're seeing is part of